Hello, everybody. It's me, Big Daddy Brian, my best friend since 7th grade, Sebastian, and my baby mama, with all the drama, is not here. It's just me doing this solo dolo. And I'm here to talk about what's the best anime for beginners to watch. I'm a big One Piece fan. Everybody knows that. But One Piece as a beginner anime for anybody is a bad idea. I mean, the anime came out in 1997, so I feel like a lot of people wouldn't want to watch that old school animation. I mean, the best example of this is my best friend in 7th grade, Sebastian. That man could barely get through a whole episode of One Piece just because of the animation. And with anime beginners, like you need to make sure that the first anime they watch is something good and short. So for me, I think I would recommend Chainsaw Man. I was legit thinking about this like a couple days ago after making that Chainsaw Man video that with Sebastian, link down below. I made that video with him and I just couldn't stop thinking about how like I think this is my favorite new anime to recommend people, especially if they're beginners. Just because of the animation, how gory it is, and just like how everything's so like it was just so good. And with 12 episodes, it's bingeable and people could just watch it in one day. I mean, that's what I did. I watched it in a whole day. And usually I don't really do that for many animes. There was an anime that just came out this year or last year called Hell's Paradise that I watched for Sebastian. Because for some reason he really loved that anime. And I just watched it and it took me a while to finish it. It legit took me 6 or 7 days to finish it. And it was the same amount of episodes, 12. But for some reason, I just couldn't sit down and finish the whole thing. It was boring at times. And with Chainsaw Man, I think it just catches the person's attention enough for them to keep watching it. And it's short enough that people could just finish it in a day. And I love One Piece, but there's 1,000+ episodes. And I feel like that's just too much commitment for one person to start off with their first anime, basically. So you need to give them something that's like short and not too much. And I feel like there's two other animes that I feel like people would probably say, Brian, why don't you recommend Demon Slayer or My Hero Academia? Those are short and newer animations out there that people would probably like. And yeah, I would have probably recommended My Hero Academia like 6 or 7 years ago because that's when I first started watching it. And the only reason I watched it was because superhero movies were big at the time. And I've always been a big superhero fan. I mean, my favorite is Spider-Man. And so I saw My Hero Academia and I was like, I'm gonna watch that. Like an anime with heroes, like of course, that's something I would love. And eventually I did watch it and I loved it to the point I even considered it better than Naruto. So let's forget that I ever said My Hero Academia is better than Naruto because that's a dumb, hot take from me 7 years ago. And now with superhero movies, I just wouldn't recommend this anime to anybody, especially with like superhero fatigue. Like, I love superheroes, but man, in 2023, I have not been able to sit down and even watch a new superhero movie. Miss Marvel came out, Blue Beetle came out, and all these movies, I just didn't even want to go to the movie theaters. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 came out this year, and I didn't even want to go watch it. And everybody was hyping it up. They were like, it's good, it's good. And I was just like, I'm good. I don't want to watch that. So I haven't even sat down to watch any of those movies. And I just feel like I couldn't recommend My Hero Academia, especially because like after season 3 or season 4, I forget which one came out. After that, I just didn't want to keep watching. Like I legit just stopped watching. I haven't even watched like the newer season that came out. I did read some of the manga, but I only read it when like spoilers come out, and I think it's like spicy enough for me to go back and read it. But other than that, I don't really get myself like interested or hyped up to read or watch a new episode of My Hero Academia. So I can't really recommend it for people. Now, Demon Slayer, that's like pretty hyped up right now, but I just feel like it could be kind of confusing for newer people to watch that, especially because they're making movies out of seasons and it could be kind of confusing. Even I get confused sometimes, guys. Like, I'll watch the movie come out and I'm like, so I shouldn't watch the season? But I usually watch both. And I feel like there's too many episodes of Demon Slayer already for people to like even want to commit to Demon Slayer. Like I said, like I would recommend an anime that's short and that could get someone's attention. And Demon Slayer just like it has too many episodes and people are just not going to be as committed to watching it. That's why I think Chainsaw Man is such a good anime to recommend to people, just because it's short, good animation. I mean, sometimes like the landscape or art they would show in the anime was just so good. And there was even times where they would do like an ASMR. I hope I did that right, because a lot of people would make fun of me for saying ASMR. So I do not know which one it is. It's one of those, don't know what. But I just loved it for the little moments where like there would be little calmness to it. Where I think Aki would be like making breakfast, he would do laundry, he would light up a cigarette, and I would just love those moments. And I feel like other people would like it too. It's Asmar, who doesn't love that? I also think the action is pretty good. There's always something going on in each episode, and I think the characters' motives in this anime is just so good because like it's pretty realistic. I mean, he's a 16-year-old kid that just wants to grab some my boy. What I also like about the anime is the power system in it. All it is characters getting into contracts with demons, and that's how they get their powers. So I feel like it's just an easy to understand power system for like new anime beginners to understand compared to other ones. I mean, some of you might have already commented down below, why don't you say Jujutsu Kaisen, Brian? That would have been such a good recommendation. And to be honest, guys, I love Jujutsu Kaisen, but sometimes I could get confused with the power system. And again, there's probably going to be comments down below. Brian, it's so easy to understand. And yeah, like it can be easy to understand sometimes, but other times I can be hella confused, guys. I'm just being honest. I can be hella confused. Maybe it's just me that doesn't really understand the power system, but that's one of the reasons why I really don't consider it an anime that I would recommend to a beginner. Maybe after 2 animes I would recommend it, but not the first one. And another aspect that I forgot to mention is the first episode of an anime. I feel like that is the most important thing to hook somebody. I mean, it's the first episode. If you don't get them hooked in the first episode, why are they going to keep watching more? I mean, again, my best friend Sebastian is a good example of this. I showed him the first episode of One Piece and he just couldn't get into it. So with Chainsaw Man, when I recommended it to him, he legit got hooked in the first episode. And with the way the first episode of Chainsaw Man ends, I feel like a lot of pet lovers will really get hooked to it. Not saying they're going to enjoy what happens to the pet, but I will say they will get hooked and want to watch the next episode. But yeah, that's why I think Chainsaw Man is the best anime for beginners to watch. If you have other choices or other options, just comment it down below and tell me what you think is the best anime for beginners to watch. Maybe some of you guys will say Dragon Ball, but again, it's the One Piece thing again. People will probably not like the older animation, and I just can't recommend it. Other than that, shout out to you guys for watching. Please like this video, comment down below. Remember, you guys can listen to this as audio as Dream Ghost, a One Piece lover on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts on. So shout out to you guys for listening. I appreciate it. Bye.